Hi again, VC. Back again with more records to show. This time it's yet another Gimme, well, not yet another, but another Gimme 10 from 1983. As I mentioned in the my first one, I had loads of records to show from 1983, and seems like a good opportunity to go through some of the stuff that I bought back in the 80s, and for records that are still pretty precious to me, actually. Just about all of these, I really love all of them. So, without further ado, first one, Highland Hard Rain by Hester Camera. This is Roddy Frame's debut album as Hester Camera. It's got the stunning single Oblivious on it. I still love that song. Just one of the all-time great singles for me. Walk Out to Winter is just gorgeous. Pillar to Post, Back on Board, the bugle sounds again. It's just lovely, 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 jangly singer-songwriter pop. I think he's another graduate from the Postcard label. I'm sure he cut a couple of things for Postcard before he moved to Rough Trade and then on to WEA. But God, this is dusty. Where's that come from? But lovely out of focus picture of the young Mr. Frame with his and there he is in silhouette with his fringed suede jacket that he always wore at the time. Great debut album. Great debut album. This was shown by somebody else. I can't remember who. Bauhaus, Burning from the Inside. It is the only Bauhaus record I've got, even though I know them really well. In the Fat Field and the others, I think I've got a copy of 79 to 83, the singles on CD somewhere. But I think this is an underrated album. For a start, it's got She's in Parties on it. But there's some really good songs on here, like Who Killed Mr. Moonlight, I think is brilliant. Slice of Life, Antonin Artaud, King Volcano. I really rate this record, actually. Even though the band were falling apart. Great record. Cocktails. This is superb, this record. This is where I think they really hit their stride. For me, Garlands is too much like a Susie and the Banshees record. It's great, but this is where they really started to forge their own identity and their own sound. Things like Sugar Hiccup is on here, and it's just a step forward into sonically, and Liz Fraser starts speaking in tongues on this record, so I just love it, absolutely love it. Beautiful record. Also shown by somebody else was Porcupine, Micah and the Bunnymen. This is a great record. Back of Love, The Cutter, Heads Will Roll, just really, really good stuff. Really love that, and the cover is just gorgeous. Lovely, lovely cover there. That's another great record from 83. I've already shown one album by this next band. They actually released two albums in 83. One was, I think, in January, and this one was released in November. This is Touch by the Eurythmics. Yeah, it's really, really mainstream. Things like Here Comes the Rain Again, Who's That Girl, Right By Your Side, which is probably my least favourite song on the album. But the best song on the album is a song called Aqua. It is so brooding. It is absolutely brilliant. Things like No Fear, No Hate, No Pain, No Broken Hearts. It's just really, really good pop record. You can't really underplay the quality of there's Dave Stewart, of British pop music during the early 80s, and it lasted till about probably 84-ish, before, up to, well, I just consider Live Aid, for all the great work that it did, I just consider Live Aid to be like a real line in the sand. Before it, we seemed to have like loads of mavericks and really interesting people getting into the charts and releasing really great albums. And then after 85, it just seemed as though the boring old fart squad took over. Sort of Dire Straits, Phil Collins, who else? Just Eric Clapton. I can't stand Eric Clapton in the 80s. He's just so boring. All of those, it just seemed to... And then you got the pop music was sort of... Stock Aitken Waterman started really hitting it big. I don't know, I just went underground, went alternative from then on, which is probably going to be reflected in my Gimme 10s from the rest of the decade. But back to the pop music. Another brilliant pop record, Heaven 17, The Luxury Gap. These two were originally in the Human League, before Dare was recorded and released. There was a big parting of the waves, with these two, and I've forgotten their names. Martin Russian? No, not Martin Russian. He's a producer. What a twit. I've completely forgotten who they are. Ian Ware? Is that right? Martin Ware. Oh, somebody or other. Anyway, I'm sure somebody will tell me. But this is just, I think this is a great pop record. I remember buying this in 1983 in HMV. I mean, things like Crushed by the Wheels of Industry, Who'll Stop the Rain, Let Me Go, Temptation, which I think is just a brilliant song. I think it's Carol Kenyon who provided the duet with Glenn Gregory. Come Live With Me, We Live So Fast. I really love this album. It is a product of its times, but I think this is great. Really good stuff. More good pop. Cyndi Lauper, She's So Unusual. This didn't really hit big in the UK till 84, but it was released in 83. It's got some fantastic singles. Girls Just Want to Have Fun has got a special meaning to me because, as I think I've said before somewhere, I was on Top of the Pops, which was a UK chart rundown TV programme in the from the 60s to the 2000s, I think it went on to. And in 1984, Girls Just Want to Have Fun was in the top 10, and I was dancing behind Cyndi Lauper really badly. And I'm still not going to say it's on YouTube somewhere, and nobody spotted me yet, which is probably just as well, because my dancing was absolutely appalling. But this is a classic record, classic pop. It's got Girls Just Want to Have Fun, Time After Time, She Bop, All Through the Night, Money Changes Everything. It's just great pop, and I think she looked brilliant. Really looked brilliant. Another one that I think Fred showed this. I'm pretty sure Fred showed this. The Hurting by Tears for Fears. He doesn't like their follow-up song from The Big Chick because he said it was too bombastic. I kind of got a soft spot for that album. It was everywhere. The stuff was everywhere. But this is really good. Yeah, it's got Mad World on it. It's got things like Pale Shelter, Stuff for the Children. Change is a good track. It's just a really good pop record, of which there were just so many about in 1983. And for me, one of the best pop bands of the early 80s, and I'm sure this will please Headley, Altered Images. This is their third and final album. Doesn't Claire Grogan look gorgeous on there? I've whittled on about enough, but this is their kind of disco record. love this. Don't Talk to Me About Love is just one of the great singles from the early 80s. Now That You're Here, Bring Me Closer, just love lovely altered images. And there's a couple of photos from the photo shoot. Really just sumptuous. And I think that I think this got a little bit of an influence on a more recent band called the Long Blondes, whose second and final album, which I really rate, seemed to be that same kind of feel to me, like quite dancey, disco-y sort of indie pop, which I think this laid the template down for it. And this was so close to going into my first video. This was just right on the edge. And then the final one of this 10, completely different, not pop at all, Hani Rocks. This is Back to Mystery City. Just brilliant sleaze rock. Yeah, they were lumped in with a lot of the hair metal bands like Motley Crue, Rat and all that, but they were just so different. They came from Finland, they're Finnish. Mike Monroe and Andy McCoy, the mainstays on the front. I think Mike Monroe just looked so fantastic. How can he not? It just looks brilliant. They were just a brilliant band. This has got one of their best songs on it, Malibu Beach Nightmare. But it's really good. It's better than the previous two albums, I think, which were Self-Destruction Blues and Bangkok Shock Oriental Beat, I think, was there as well. Self-Destruction Blues, is that 82? Anyway, this is great. So if you haven't heard any Hanoi, I'd get either this one or the one that's going to be probably shown by me in 84, which I'll leave till then. But great rock band. So that's my second Gimme 10 from 83. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it's not too predictable, but there you go. If it is, I love these records. And I hope that comes through me whittering on about them. So, I'm going to record one more Gimme 10 from 83 because there's too many. So, for now, thanks for watching. See you later, VC.